Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole.
And I ate 4 cookies while I was waiting for you. And my name is Vanessa.
Oh my gosh, what kind of cookies?
I ate the Sweet Lauren oatmeal cranberry ones. Every 15 minutes I was like, well, she's not on yet. I guess I gotta go get a cookie.
So I have 2 thoughts here.
Okay.
First one is, I was supposed to be not letting you eat stuff like that. I was supposed to be not enabling you.
Clearly this is your fault.
Yes. So 1, I apologize for taking
okay.
so long. And then 2, I had bought some of those cookies that you're talking about, and I hadn't made them because I also bought the chocolate ones, the double chocolate ones, and the gingerbread ones, and I had made those. But I hadn't made the oatmeal cranberry ones because I was saving them for Thanksgiving, the thing. And last night, Mike was like, he's like, I really want cookies. And I was just like, okay, we don't have some. And I was like, we don't have any. And he was like, well, then we have to go to the store and get some cookies. And I said, you know what? We actually have some. I don't want to go to the store. And he went out in the garage and he got into the fridge and he found them and he's like, you've been hiding these cookies from me? And I was like,
yes.
That
was a tricky move, but he called your bluff.
I know he did. As soon as he was like, we better go buy some cookies, I was like, no,
this isn't worth it.
I don't. So, yep.
And did you like them?
Oh yeah, they're real good. Mike ate probably 8 of them. I don't know.
Great. They're so delicious. I love them so much. I was only going to eat 1 and then I don't know what happened.
I know. Obviously, I let you down.
Yes, it is your fault.
Yeah. Well, shit.
It's okay. I'm kind of glad. So Tim was supposed to be gone this week, but because he got sick, he's still home. But I'm kind of glad a little bit because that means that he can actually eat some of them too. Because I made them thinking like, oh, he's going to be gone. I could eat all of them. And now I'm glad that he's not.
He will save you from yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Good job, Tim.
Yes. Great job at getting sick. Oh, no.
Oh, poor Tim. I hate being sick. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. And it sucks because he was supposed to see his family this week and oh well. We'll figure out another time for him to be able to go.
Yeah.
But he did run. So I feel like we should be even more impressed. We can actually say Tim is so fast because he ran a race this weekend. It was a 50-mile run. And when he left for the race on Friday, he was like, I don't know if I feel right. Like, I kind of think I feel sick. I don't know what's going on, but I feel I'm still going to go. And I was like, cool. He went, ran 50 miles, PR'd by 2 hours.
Holy shit.
Yes. And then drove 6 hours home. And when he got home, he was like, I'm sick. Like, he made it all the way home before he got fully sick and was like, yeah, I can't do this. And then last night ended up having 101 fever. It was wild. But the man PR'd a 50-mile race by 2 hours. So claps to Tim.
Yes. Congratulations, Tim. You are literally the fastest person I know.
Yes.
Give me my 5 stars.
Yes. Thank you.
So I have to ask a question about this. Is Tim the type of person, or the type of runner, I should say, that he is superstitious, where he's like, oh man, I PR'd by 2 hours while I was sick. I must be sick every time I run now.
No, his first thought was just like, what if I felt 100% before I went in? Now he's thinking, yeah.
Right. So he's the bright side of life kind of guy.
Yes.
All right. Well, all the times I've been saying I'm going to run a marathon and I still haven't done it, even though I've signed up for many marathons.
I'm sure he'll get you at some point.
Yes. I think he's already planning 2026.
Yes, he is.
So I have until 2026 to figure my life out. And
That's right.
get a marathon done.
Yes, exactly.
So,
all right, enough about running.
Yes. How else was your week? Anything else besides Tim's sickness?
No.
And running.
I have a little bit of like a book news for you. I after we talked about the Homantasy box.
Oh, yes.
I was so intrigued that I ended up buying one on their sale.
Okay.
And I'm very disappointed.
Oh.
Because it didn't have a book in the box.
What?
And I tried to go back and look and see, like, did I misread the description? Because my understanding was that it was going to have, like, past, because it was from Owl Crate, and it was going to have items from past subscription boxes and a book. But once I got it, at that point, they weren't on the site anymore because they were only up for that weekend. So I can't even go in and look and see like what the actual description of it is. But all it ended up being was like book themed, like home items. So it was like a, what are those like spoon holder things that you put next to the stove?
Yeah. Okay.
And like an oven mitt and stuff like that. It was all book themed, like specific, but it was like 10 items. And I was like, what the fuck I don't want this. I wanted a Homantasy book.
Yes.
So I'm very disappointed.
Well, not only should you be disappointed that you got like a bunch of stuff that's not a book, but now we'll never know
right.
what the Homantasy fucking book genre is.
Yes. What did they consider that? So yeah, I'm sad. So
maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they forgot your book.
Maybe. I literally looked through everything. I tried to look on their website. I tried to look at emails that were sent out as like the promos for it and stuff to see. And it literally doesn't say it anywhere. So I don't know if this is my fault or theirs.
It's always their fault.
All right. I accept that.
Well, shit.
Yeah. So
that's kick in the pants.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Okay,
so that's all the news I have for you.
Oh, I'm sorry that it's disappointing book news. Usually, I was just about to say, I love book news. Yeah. It's always great. No. Good thing I kept that to myself.
Yes.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of what I did this week, but I actually think that it was so much that my brain is repressing it because it's trying to save my sanity.
Yeah. That's fair.
I guess for everybody else that's not Vanessa and doesn't get to hear the constant train of thoughts so I know I told you I cleaned so much. I'm over cleaning. Our house is going to fall into disarray because I never want to clean again. So
fair.
The news is we're selling our house, and because we're selling our house, we had to get it like viewing ready for people who want to come maybe buy it. So I had to clean it, and then the realtor came over and she told me all the things she didn't like about the house and how I needed more decorations. And then she was, to my horror, she was like, you need to put up your Christmas tree. That would be great. And I almost cried. I am not mentally ready for a Christmas tree yet. To me, we put it up the day after Thanksgiving. Every year we've done it in the last 20 years. Ethan has been there. He wasn't here this year because he's in college.
Yeah, that's really sad.
It was not a great time for me. Like I was angry the whole time I was putting up Christmas decorations, which was not where you want to be.
No. So I will say I cannot relate with you on that because I used to, for the longest time, that used to be like my thing that I did on Black Friday was I would get up and go shopping. And then as soon as I got home, I would put up all my decorations. And then I just realized that it really makes me sad, the amount of like the short amount of time that my Christmas decorations are up. And so I was like, the Christmas decorations make me happy. I'm very sad that they're up for such a short amount of time. So now, November 1st, they go up because I don't care about Thanksgiving. So I don't care that my house is not decorated for that. And I love Christmas being up that early. So I do not empathize with you there. But I will on the part that Ethan wasn't there. That's really a bummer.
Yeah. He was like, I sent him a picture of Remy in front of the tree. And he was like, you put the tree up without me? And I explained to him what happened. He was like, oh, I get it. You don't love me. I was like, what's wrong with you? Stop being a jerk. So, yeah, it was, so it was that. It was all of the prep. And then I've never lived in a house while we've been trying to sell a house. So then like the days that people were coming to look at the house, it was literally, we'd be sitting there and I'd get like a half an hour's notice and I'd be like, shit, and I had to get up and like turn everything, like put everything back and like put the dogs back in the car. I think on Friday we got in and out of the car to leave the house like 4 times. Oh, my dogs were so confused.
Oh, yeah. They were like, are we going somewhere or not?
I know. Because it's either Pup Cups, the vet, or the cabin. Yeah. So when we got into the car the 4th time and they did not have a Pup Cup, we didn't go to the vet, and we were still not at the cabin. They were like, what the hell? Remy was just like looking out the window with all his... I don't know what's this. You could tell they were really confused.
What do I do?
Yeah, Bison didn't care. He just slept in the back seat. But Remy,
good for him.
Yeah, he does not care.
No,
Remy was very confused though.
Oh yes. Well, poor puppies.
Yeah. So that was probably the biggest part of the week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
well,
that felt like a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like it happened so fast, and it was Mike was like, "Oh, by the way, we're listing tomorrow."
Yes, yeah. So it ended up being drawn out because it was like, we're listing tomorrow, and then it was like, no, it's actually Saturday. So I ended up having to. I wish it would have been on Wednesday because then I wouldn't have had to clean for 4 days. I would have been like, it's good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, that's I'm very I was gonna say excited, but I'm not. I'm not exciide. I am happy. I'm happy for you, but I'm not happy for us.
Yes. My new house, I'm happy with the new house. So I'm excited for that, but not the moving part.
No, that part sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I was trying to think of a snack this week. So, like, I mean, we did our normal Sunday football snacks, but I think I'm gonna do those. I know you've already done the Sweet Lawrence cookies, and I don't want a double snack. But have you had their double chocolate ones?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you don't really like chocolate, I know.
No. I don't like chocolate cookies.
Okay, so I knew when I was about to say this, I was like, she probably hasn't had it. So those ones are good. The ones that you told me about, the cranberry oatmeal ones. Gingerbreads, so. They're okay.
All right.
But the double chocolate ones are like brownies.
Okay.
They're so good. Like, if you don't cook them all the way, they turn into ooey gooey brownies, and they're so delicious.
I think we might have some, though, because I feel like Tim wanted to try them. So there might be some in the fridge.
Yes, I think they're delicious, and I might make ice cream with them.
Oh, good. Excellent. So, well, my snack, I don't even remember what they're called, but I buy them every year around the holidays. I don't even know if they sell them when it's not holidays. But do you know those like vanilla wafer sticks?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like a wafer, like little, it's almost like a straw
or something.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they are. It's like a straw, but it's filled with like yumminess.
Yes.
Those are so good. So I ate those all week.
Yes.
Because those are so good.
Yes, we buy those too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I like, are they sold when it's not the holidays? Is that like a normal thing? Or
I think I've seen them before non-holiday, but it's like always like the very top of the shelf, and there's only like 1 or 2 cans.
Right.
So like,
yeah, during the holidays they bring them out and they're like right in front. So I always buy
full
them.
force.
Yeah. So that's my snack this week: vanilla wafers.
That's a good one. Those things are delicious.
So good.
Have you ever put them in hot chocolate before?
Not hot chocolate, but I've put them in like other drinks.
Coffee or something?
Yeah, so another one of my holiday drinks every year is Kahlua and milk.
Oh, yes. That's
and
pretty good.
So I will put them in there.
You actually reminded me when you were talking about drinks, and I think I'm going to change my snack.
Okay.
Because we went and got coffee yesterday, and they had cider. I love cider. It is so good. I'm changing my snack to cider.
Okay.
So,
okay, fair.
And those of you who don't know what cider is, it is chai tea and apple cider. It is delicious. Go out and get you some because it's delicious.
Do you make it at home too?
I have made it at home.
Okay.
And it's pretty good.
Okay.
I think that, that whole, like, I didn't have to make it myself.
It's not the same. That's fair.
So, thank you for letting me change my answer.
You're welcome.
So, I know you have at least one book, because I know you started at least one book that I know of. Do you want to talk about your books first?
Sure.
You have books or book?
Well, I actually read 3 books this week, but one of them was Eclipse. So that's going to be, that's going to be in our bonus bites that we're recording right after this. Okay. And I'm saving the other one. So I'm only talking about one today. I don't want to talk about the other one yet.
Okay.
So I have one book for you today.
Okay. I'm interested to see which one it is, because if it's the one I think, or if you're saving that one.
No, it's the one you think.
Okay.
So I read Variation by Rebecca Yarros. It came out this week. I know we're like 2 weeks ahead on posting, so when you're listening to this, it was not this week, but recording, it came out this week on Tuesday. And it's a romance. So do you want to hear my thoughts first, or do you want to hear what it's about first?
I guess what it's about first.
Okay.
Because I have no clue. I've been purposely avoiding that book. Anytime I've seen it anywhere, I've been avoiding it because I know you were going to read it this week.
Yes. Okay.
So,
all right. So I'll tell you. It is about a girl named Allie and a guy named Hudson. It's a dual point of view. Allie is a ballerina. She is like a world famous ballerina. And Hudson is a Coast Guard rescue swimmer. But they met when they were kids, like he was 17 and she was 16. It was his hometown, but it was her summer. It was where her family summered.
Oh.
Yes. And so he actually like rescued her out in the water, and that's how they met. Okay, so they spent 2 summers together. They became best friends, and then at the end of that second summer is when he left for basic. So the night before he left for basic training, there was an accident in which Allie's sister was killed. Oh. And Allie lost like most of her memory associated with the accident. Like,
so she was with her.
Yeah, she was with her.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And she ended up having like some injuries and like all that kind of stuff, but mostly like she lost her whole memory. She doesn't know what happened. She's got little glimpses of what she thinks happened. But she spent time in the hospital basically, and he left while she was in the hospital. And without seeing her, whatever, and they didn't see each other again for 10 years. So go ahead.
Did he know? Can you tell me that?
Yes, he knew.
Oh no.
Yeah. So he knew. That's kind of why like she never reached out to him, because she was like, oh, you just left. And then he has his reasons.
Okay.
I can't tell you what all of his reasons are, but there are reasons that he didn't go see her, and then he left, and they didn't see each other or speak again for 10 years. So at this point, he is actually stationed back in his hometown. So his sister lost her husband at some point in that 10 years. And so he got a like a waiver or whatever to get stationed in his hometown so that he could help with
like a hardship or something.
Yeah, with her daughter. Okay. And Allie is currently in New York, being a famous dancer, and she suffers a major injury while she's on stage. And it's kind of all related back to like the accident and stuff like that. So because of this major injury, she ends up moving back to that summer house or whatever, because that summer house has a place where she could like rehab her injury and like all that kind of stuff. So she ends up being in the same town back with Hudson. And Hudson's niece, her name is Juniper.
Oh, that's cute.
And she's adopted. So his sister and her husband adopted her, and then her husband passed away. But Juniper believes that Allie might be her birth mother. So she makes Hudson take her over there. And so now this is the first time they're meeting. Allie is not her birth mother, but this kind of gets them back into like talking. Ultimately, I'm not going to tell you all the things, but there's some scheming that happens. And for reasons, Allie and Hudson now have to fake date.
Uh-oh.
So we've got two tropes now. We've got fake dating, and we've got like second chance, right? Because it's 10 years later. So the whole book now is basically them fake dating. We find out more about Allie and Hudson's families. We kind of, throughout the whole fake dating timeline, is her rehabbing, him working, obviously,
saving people
out in the water, and then getting glimpses back in time of like things that happened when they were teenagers. So you're gonna, by the end of the book, you do get the full story of like what happened in the accident, all the things. So the whole time you're like, yeah, all the secrets, blah blah blah. So that's basically the whole story. My rating is 4.7 vanilla wafers. And do you want to know something crazy?
Yes.
That is the lowest rating I've ever given a Rebecca Yarros book. 4.7.
So I was impressed.
Yeah.
But now that you're telling me it's the worst book.
But I just feel like it's still so high. It's not bad. The things that are wrong with it, I think, are more me than the book. One of the things that's more me is I don't really care about ballerinas.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And not that I don't I like watching it and stuff, but there was so many technical terms of like what move they were doing and what she had to do to rehab, and like I didn't care about any of that stuff. Like,
Right.
I thought it was really cool that she was a professional dancer. I thought, like, the whole storyline of what she wanted her career to be, I really enjoyed. But the actual technicalness of the ballerina-ing, I don't
do without.
Yeah, that I was like bored reading that kind of stuff. So that I feel is definitely more me than the writing. The part that was the writing, though, is there are at least 2 or 3 like major twists that happen later in the book, and I got a little lost. Again, it could be me.
Right.
However, I did read a couple of other comments, like reviews that were on Goodreads, that said something similar, where once the twist started coming in, I was a little lost in the story. Like, who's saying what, where, what is happening, when, like that.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why it's not a 5-star. But I went in thinking, because every book so far from her I've given 5 stars. So I went in with it wanting to be a 5-star. 4.75 or 4.7 is still not a bad book.
Right. Yeah.
I enjoyed it the whole time. I was interested. I really loved Hudson. Allie was cool. I liked his family. Like, I just really enjoyed it. Yeah, so that's Variation. But I do want to say, for anyone who is interested in another Rebecca Yarros book that isn't Fourth Wing,
You mean there's another one that's not Fourth Wing?
Yes. My favorite book from her, I think, is The Things We Leave Unfinished.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
I would recommend that book to anyone who wants to read like a romancy whatever. I fucking loved that book. And maybe that's why I couldn't give this one 5 stars. I don't know if I'll ever be able to give another one 5. Because I really liked that one a lot.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about finding out that you've started like the best book, and then you're like, shit, now all the books are gonna be now I know all the other books are gonna be less than or subpar. Ugh.
Well, I mean, I did read another one from her In the Likely Event, and I gave that one a 5-star as well. But I just would, over that one, I think I would recommend The Things We Leave Unfinished.
Nice.
But yeah, Variation was still really good. I read it in literally 2 days. I just wanted to know what happened with them.
That's fair.
And the book ends with a 5-year jump ahead. So you get
to find out like 5 years in the future. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I like when that happens.
Yeah, so you get some closure on a couple of different things that you may have questioned at the end. So
nice.
It's super cute. I really liked it. I liked, just the end.
Nice.
Yes.
And you're sure you don't want to tell me about your second book?
I'm sure. I have no notes in front of me, so I'm very sure.
All right, fair. Well, how about I talk about my 2 books, and you can decide if you maybe want to come back to it.
Okay.
All right. So I had 2 books this week. The first one is a history book, and it has a really long title.
Okay.
It's called Merlin, the story of the engine that won the Battle of Britain in World War II.
Okay.
By Graham Hoyland. So I was just going to say Merlin, but then I was like, it might give people the idea that it's a fantasy. No, this is a straight up history, bro.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you said Merlin, and I was thinking bearded man with a witch hat.
Exactly, as you should. When I typed it into Goodreads and I put Merlin, hoping that I wouldn't have to type the rest of it out, it was not one of the first options. I ended up having to type a lot more out, and I was not happy. But so yeah, I listened to it as an audiobook, and I really liked it for an audiobook. I will start out by saying that this is a ultra specific history because it's the story of a very specific engine made by Rolls-Royce called the
Okay.
Merlin. Yeah, called the Merlin engine.
Okay.
So this. Go
So
ahead.
I was gonna say, when you said engine, I didn't know if that actually meant like engine, or like for some reason the first thing I thought of was like a train.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know why.
it's an aircraft engine.
Okay.
And it was designed, built, whatever, engineered to be an aircraft engine.
Okay.
And it ended up being used in several World War II aircraft.
Okay.
So the Spitfire, the Mosquito, the Hurricane, and the Lancaster were the four main ones that the book talked about. If it was used in any other airplanes, I don't know off the top of my head. Those were just the four that I wrote down while I was listening.
Okay.
So if you are familiar with like World War II aircraft, aircraft engines during that time were not even close to the amount of power that aircraft engines today are.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them during that time frame were actually piston driven. So the same thing that you would find in like your car. So like not like a V8 or anything, but like a V27,
Right.
so,
Right.
So I'm really squishing down what the description is when I say this history is the story of how that engine came to be and the role it played in defeating the Nazis.
Wow.
Now, I left it that squished down because one of the things that I wanted to talk about with this is when you have a history book that's that specific about one little thing and like a huge topic, airplanes, World War II, all these, it's really safe to assume that a book like that, because this one was 300 pages, by the way.
Okay.
So like a book that specific, there's going to be padding in it, right?
Sure.
And that is definitely the case in this book.
Okay.
Several chapters were about like the history of powered and non-powered flight. So things like the Wright brothers.
Okay.
And to me, I feel like if you're listening to a book this specific, you kind of already know, you probably already know this stuff.
I would think so.
More than likely, unless you stumbled across
right.
it. But when I looked this book up on Goodreads, there was only like 100 reviews and only 3 people had left like actual reviews.
Wow.
So there wasn't, I don't think a lot of people were stumbling across this book,
no.
right? So the book was great.
Okay.
There was a lot of historical detail that I appreciated. It was well written. The author only went on a few tangents, but it wasn't anything crazy. He did seem to get like lost a bit in the weeds with like, unneeded or maybe more detailed than it needed to be, but it wasn't enough to deter me from listening. I figure if you're listening to something that specific, you're not gonna mind a little bit of in the weeds.
Right.
But I will forewarn you that anybody listening, that if you're thinking about like listening or reading this book, only about the last third is about the Merlin engine itself.
Okay.
Right. So you have like a handful of chapters that are about like the history of aviation, and then it talks a lot about like the Rolls-Royce company and like the stock market crash and like stuff like that affected the company. And like, and I can't remember their first names, but Mr. Rolls and Mr. Royce, how their impact of like, it to the company and stuff like that. But
so like it was basically everything leading up to the ultimate production of this engine. Okay.
So, but like I said, it was a really good book. I really enjoyed listening to it. I enjoy the technical aspect of all that stuff.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I'd say I easily gave it a 4. I would probably be willing to go higher.
Okay.
Maybe up to like a 4.5. I didn't really have any reasons to not give it a 5 minus
You didn't care about the Wright brothers?
I didn't care. Yeah, I didn't care about the Wright brothers and like stuff like that. I've already read books about like that part, of history. So I was kind of just like, all right. Thank you. You're not telling me anything new that I didn't already know. So it was like a recap.
Okay.
So that was my first book.
Okay.
And like I said, probably up to 4.5 chiters.
Okay.
If I'm being nice.
All right.
So my second book. I am going to talk about my second book.
Okay.
So, Monstrous Nights.
This is book 2.
This is book 2 in the Witch's Compendium of Monsters.
Compendium.
I was like, I'll just say it all weird. That way nobody will really be like, she's saying it so wrong. No, I'm saying it that way on purpose.
Yes, exactly.
So, Monstrous Nights by Genoveva?
I don't know.
Yeah, Genoveva? Dimova? I think
that's how you said it the first time.
All right, at least I'm consistently wrong, I guess. I don't know. So this is a physical copy. I actually bought this because I really enjoyed the first book. It's still fantasy.
Which was Foul Days, right?
Foul Days was the first book.
Foul.
Foul.
Okay.
Though in this book there are a lot of chickens.
So it could have been.
It could have been. So I guess just to recap for everybody, if you didn't listen to episode 15, I'll pause here and wait for you to go back and listen to episode 15, and I'll just wait. We'll just wait for you right here. Yeah. Okay, welcome back.
Okay, thank you.
So just because it ties in, just a little backstory. The main character, Cassera, is a fire witch, and she lives in the city called Belgrade, which is that, completely walled in city. And that's the wall will kill you if you try to escape. And the main point here is that Cassera's magic she has her magic because she has her shadow. Her shadow gives her her magic. So
yes.
All important points still in this book. They're still relevant. Now, this book starts, I'd say maybe 6 months after the other book ends. Right. So the other book ends at in January, January 1st or whatever. This book starts up in June.
Okay.
And Cassera has 12 shadows now.
Okay.
So she went from having 0 shadows to 12 shadows. So she has a shit ton of magic. But too bad for her, she has no idea how to control it. So,
yay.
Yes. So she's just, trying to live her best life and figure out, what's going on with that and how to take care of all of that. But while this is happening, 2 witches inside the city are found murdered. And one witch inside the city, 1 witch outside of the wall. Okay. So 2 witches are found dead, murdered. And Cassera is called to help with one of them. And while she's there investigating, on the outside of the wall, the detective from the first book, E17, he's investigating that murder.
Okay.
And so because of that, their paths cross again. And if you want to call it their love interests, Okay. So together they're trying to solve the murders. They're trying to help their friends. Well, yeah, they're trying to help friends. Okay. They're defeating monsters.
Great.
Because there's still monsters running around somehow.
Right.
They're trying to keep their promises that they made in book 1 to angry revenge spirits.
Okay.
They're trying to not turn into werewolves. They're trying to defeat evil forces that would like to see everybody die. Easy peasy.
so many questions, but I assume they all are spoilery, so I will not ask you all these questions.
Yes. So if you have questions, it's not you, Vanessa, but
Yes.
everybody else, if you have questions about what all of that means, go read the books.
Yes.
Go read Foul Days, because I rated that one 4.5, like 4.25, 4.5, because it was really good. This one, I'm giving like a 3.8.
Okay.
So it wasn't as good as the first one. But it wasn't terrible. So my thoughts on the book are, why I didn't give it, 5 stars is the book, in my opinion, the beginning of the book was slow. Kind of like, I think you said in a previous episode, everything felt like a side quest. Yes. So like that's why I listed everything out. They're just doing all these things trying to get to the main goal of the book, and it's just all side quests.
Sky Shade.
Yes. So it just felt like it was all side quests, and the main story arc was like the last 50 pages.
Oh.
I thought so. I was super mad because I was like, I think in episode 15, I was like, oh yeah, I think this is a series. I saw it was a series. It's a duology.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at any of that before I started reading it. And so the last 50 pages, like, I was getting really close, and I was like, dude, there must be a book 3. There has to be. And then it was just like, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, dang it, it is a duology.
Oh, no.
But if you go and look, there is a book 1.5.
Oh, so there's like a little novella, basically.
Yeah, there is a novella. I think it would probably make more sense. I haven't read it, but based on the description, I think it probably makes more sense to 0.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't think you would have the proper context.
Okay.
So it's kind of telling the past, like, in the middle, if that makes sense.
Do you think you'll read it?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So the other things that I disliked or liked, or I don't know, other things about the book. Okay. So in this book, you get Asen's point of view.
Oh, okay.
Which I really enjoyed hearing his side of the adventure, because he has a couple cute side quests that I enjoyed. And
you didn't get him at all in the first one?
No, he's in the book, but
not his POV. Okay.
Right. So, because of that, I struggled a little bit with this book, because both characters in this book, I don't know, everything about them it felt like it was written different.
Oh.
Like they regressed almost. Their relationship is different in this book. They aren't like partners. Like in the first book, they're almost like partners.
Okay.
And like, they rely on each other, and they find friendship in each other where they can't find it anywhere else. In this one, it was more like whiny self-consciousness, like being self-conscious, and like
and like both of them?
Yeah, like they have like longing for each other, and they have uncertainty for each other, like how the other feels. But they don't talk about it. They don't have conversations about it.
Okay.
The romance is still very YA. It actually, their relationship it feels like that you end up in book 2 in the same spot that book 1 ended in, because their character development regresses so much. And it's everybody.
That's unfortunate.
Right. Every single character in book 2 that was in book 1 also is just, there's no character growth. So I know I didn't explain that super great.
No, you did. I feel like I have a good take on it.
Yeah. So the book was good.
Yeah.
It was just it wasn't as good as book 1, and that made me sad.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
But I still gave it 3.8 chiters.
Okay, that's still great. I still accept this. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. How do you organize your bookshelf? By author or color or TBR or some other way?
It seems like an easy question. You want to go first?
My answer is I don't.
Easy.
Yeah, I don't really have a way that I like organize everything. I definitely keep all of my like series together. Or duologies or whatever they are. But otherwise I do not have like a way that they go. They're just like willy-nilly.
So do you put books, like if you have books on your shelf willy-nilly and you take a book out and read it, do you put it back in the same spot? Or do you just kind of put it wherever?
No, I'll put it back in the same spot just because there's a hole there now. Unless I've already filled it, then
I was going to say,
yes.
What if you bought another book?
Well, then it will go somewhere else. Yeah, I don't really have a way that I do them.
That's fair.
I probably should though, because I need to probably figure out the books I still need to read versus the books I have read.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. How do you know?
I don't. I don't.
That's funny. Yeah. So that's kind of how our living room bookshelf is. We just have like a bigger bookshelf in the living room, but mine and Mike's books are on there.
Okay.
And they're all just smooshed together and everything is in there wherever they fit. There's books laying sideways on top. It's not pretty.
Okay. If it fits, that's where it goes?
If it fits, it sits.
Yes.
That is correct. But in here, in this room, because Mike doesn't come in here and touch any of these books.
That's right.
It goes oldest to newest.
Okay.
And then it's also split into 3 sections.
Okay.
So I have my unread books, my in progress books that I haven't given up yet.
Okay.
And then the books that I've completed.
All right.
So, and I have to do oldest to newest or else I have to know which ones have been sitting on there the longest.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Oh, right. Of course.
So,
I have books that have been sitting on the shelf for a very long time. I feel like they might be depressed.
I think that's a thing.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Okay, well, that was an easy one.
Yeah.
Especially because my answer was no answer.
I have no thoughts. Yeah. I've seen people who organize their books, like they change them every so often. Have you seen that? Like,
yes.
Like, I'm gonna change up, like, I'm gonna put them, like you were saying earlier, like by color, by author, by genre, or whatever. They're like, I'm gonna change it up today. That gives me anxiety. The thought of taking all my books off the shelves and having to put them back in some kind of order makes me sad, because I will fuck it up. I'll start putting books back, and then I'll be like, wait a second, these books need to be there. Yeah. So
I do really enjoy the bookshelves that are arranged by color. It's very aesthetically pleasing, but I don't have enough books to make it look good, and 2, I feel like it would give me so much anxiety if I had like 5 white books and 37 red books. You know, like, yeah. I just feel like it would not be maybe it has to, in order to be aesthetically pleasing, you have to have a similar number of every color book. Yeah. Which just makes it so hard.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous. Or if you could just like make like a rainbow, like I don't know, make a picture out of it. What are those pictures made out of little pixels called?
I don't know what they're called. Yes. I don't know. I don't think I could do it by color. I really like that. If I could do something like that, that's probably how I would pick to do it. But yeah, I don't.
Okay. That's all I have to say about how I put my books on my shelves.
Me too. So tell us how you put your books on your shelf, or show us pictures. Tag us in a picture or something.
Oh yeah.
On Instagram at Savor the Story Pod. Or you can send us pictures. I will look at them there as well. Go to our website, savorthestorypod.com, and email us through our form there. And then give us 5 stars.
Yay. Be like Tim.
That's right.
Give us 5 stars.
Comment and rate and all the things, because it helps us.
Thumbs ups.
Yeah, it helps us get seen by other listeners. So that is very helpful. So that's all.
Yeah.
The end.
Go on. Get out of here.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye.